Hello everybody and welcome to Planet FPL, the world where everything revolves around Fantasy Premier League. My name's Serge.
And my name is James.
And today is People's Poll Day. It's Tuesday, it's the 19th of May. Oh, James, it's a glorious day. The sun is shining. I don't know if you're on YouTube, you can see it coming through my window. Weather is good. 4 days until the 24-hour live stream. We're going to raise thousands of pounds for NHS-related charities that I've been looking at today. Feeling happy, James. What is happening?
And perversely, this podcast might actually be about Fantasy Premier League a little bit for a change.
Well, yeah, I suppose so. I mean, we're talking more about the business of FPL content and what have you. We are indeed. So, yeah, it has been a good day. So tell me, James, what were the options in the poll and what won and what are we talking about?
Well, the first thing to say is the vote was completely rigged for this to win.
Yes, Mr. Marinakis.
We're absolutely...
Is his name Marinakis?
Who's Marinakis?
The Olympiacos owner. What's his name?
What's he got to do with anything? Oh, we've rigged it. We've fixed the people's poll vote. We didn't fix the people's poll vote. It won by a landslide. But I think people who'd been listening to perhaps certainly my Friday streams and some of the Chatman stuff knew what to vote for, basically. So the options were a Q&A with no football questions. Now, there's going to be plenty of opportunity on the 24-hour stream to ask me and Suj non-football questions. That's a certainty. And the other option was to clarify exactly what the 24-hour stream will be. It's locked in and we'll certainly be releasing it over the next coming days on Twitter, probably my stream Friday as well. We'll have graphics up Saturdays. If you join in, you'll know who's coming on, etc. That can get released anytime as well. So we are talking about the controversial, to many, subject that you and I are launching Planet FPL Patreon.
Correct.
Is that it? Just end the show. give us your money now.
Yeah, I mean, look, we are now approaching 2 3/4 years since we launched Planet FPL back in end of August, beginning of August, I think, in 2017. We started recording the first Planet FPL podcast. I think of the first 20 shows, James, there's still only one that's had more than 100 listens, and that's episode 1. I think people have gone back to that one just for shits and giggles, but all the others are still less than 100 downloads per show.
I just jump in. Episode 9 is the one that's got the lowest views. It's about 59, I think. So I think people have actually gone back and gone, do you know what? I'm going to listen to Planet FPL from the start. And then they've got to episode 8 and gone, nah, that's shit.
Nah. Both of us had not come from any kind of content creation background. I've done bits and pieces on social media for other businesses, but we're not talking any kind of thing. And obviously in Manchester, we were able to announce that lifetime downloads and views was well over 1 million now. So the whole thing has grown and grown. And what was originally one podcast a week very quickly became 2, where we did a review and then a preview, which then descended into end of season 1. Let's do 30 podcasts in 30 days because there's no FPL and nothing else to do. And I'm sure had Champman FPL and some of these other games not crept up to fill this void, we would have found a stupid thing to do to fill the void. But we're already doing a show a day, which then suddenly crept into 5 shows a week. Sky FF coming into the mix as well. 20 correspondents coming into the mix. Like it's grown and grown and grown to the point that now it needs to stand on its own 2 feet. It's not a hobby for you or me.
It's definitely not a hobby for me anymore.
No.
I've been doing 2 jobs for the last year or so. So, I mean, even if you take this week, essentially, we don't mind sharing this. I'm furloughed at the moment.
Yep.
I mean, I'm doing 32 hours this week on Planet FPL, just content.
Yep.
That's before we do the editing of the podcast and all the planning that's going into Saturday, etc. So it's become the 5-day a week has become another job on top of another job, basically. And it's at that point where it couldn't grow any further without something having to give a little.
Yeah, I think it's more. I feel like what we've just described is a sob story and we're getting the violins out and we're working so hard. That's not what
Nah, I
it's
don't
about.
want the sympathy.
Because, exactly. I love it and you love it. I know this is something that 2 years ago we didn't know existed and now we do. And we've plotted our way through and never tried to monetize in any kind of way because I suppose we didn't really know where it was going and what monetization looked like and how we were going to grow it. But we're now at the point where you can't do two jobs. Therefore, we need to get enough resource into time and money wise to keep getting better. Because if we don't keep trying to get better, we flatline. And I'm not one for flatlining. Anyone that knows me knows we're always constantly trying to move forward. But I do think that what we've done in the last 3 years is build a platform that means that the quality of the content itself is good. The production we want to improve. I mean, our video content and all of that kind of stuff, we want to get better. And I think we're well positioned to really, really go for it. And so we decided that the first step, obviously, is to launch our Patreon. So let's get a couple of quick myths out of the way, shall we? Just for people, because I know they're going to be, the first question is, do we have to pay for your content now?
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
Don't ruin it, James. The simple answer is that we've been doing and will continue to do 5 shows a week for free. So the main podcast that you're getting is going to carry on for free. The Ask James live stream on a Friday, which we can evolve into a phone-in and a YouTube Q&A and that kind of thing, will continue for free. We've got Sky Fantasy Football that we roll out, James. That's going to continue for free. But we're going to give out all of the regular shows that we're giving to people. There might be slight twists on them. I think
when it's come up, the major concern for people has been, I don't want to lose what I've currently got from you. And we're not silly. We know that many of our regular listeners are not going to contribute, etc. That's absolutely fine. We still want to keep the platform as close to what it is currently and then do more. So the main concerns and feedback I had from people was, are we still going to have what you've currently got? And the answer is yes. So yes, the main podcast on a Monday will be available. Yes, the People's Poll will still be available. Yes, Sky, which we think has got massive growth potential, will still be available for free. The Clash of the Correspondents, I'm not hiding them guys behind the paywall. That invaluable ITK that they give to us on a Thursday will still stay available. And yes, they'll do the streams on a Friday. And then we're looking to double the content with other stuff, which will be on Patreon.
Of course. So we're looking at the main podcast, the Q&A, an extra Q&A for Patreon members of the Planet FPL community. I mean, we use the word patrons. They're members. They're our community. We'll be doing that. The quiz is so much fun. I'm rubbish at most of them, but the quiz is so much fun. So we're going to be introducing that. We've got some other shows lined up for you as well. We used to do a show called The Final Plan, and then football stop. But we'll do a preview show for all of the game weeks. So the game week preview show, match day preview show, whatever you want to think about it as, before any game weeks are coming up, whether it's before the weekend or midweek fixtures and what have you. And so we're going to be bringing out a lot more content. I missed the Tuesday extra content that we were doing.
Well, the one that will change in terms of free to go behind is Tottenham. Mm-hmm. And the reason for that is, and to be very honest with you,
West Ham will be in the Championship.
Well, that's part of possibility, yeah. But to be very honest with you, it's the least popular.
Yeah, by far, and it's understandable as well, because if you don't follow West Ham or Spurs, then why would you? But then I think the fans that we have that listen regularly quite often listen anyway. So look, that's it. You need to know that the 5 main shows that you get each week on YouTube and on podcast audio format, wherever you're getting it, will be there. We're giving you 5 new shows for the top 2 tiers on our Patreon. So that's very important. The second thing is, I'm fully aware that we're launching Patreon in the weirdest possible time with the coronavirus crisis and what have you happening. And there was a very conscious decision around that, where we're obviously doing the live stream on Saturday, which is going to be a 24-hour live stream for charity. The decision was that we'll launch our Patreon at the same time, and all the money that we get from Patreon members, until football reopens, is going directly to the NHS. So even though we're launching our Patreon, I don't think we'll see any money until 2021, maybe 2022, maybe 2023, at the way coronavirus is
maybe
going.
never. Just be a constant funding to the NHS.
Yeah. So, for example, if you were thinking of donating 20 quid on Saturday to our GoFundMe page, and you think, you know what, rather than that, I'll just go on the £3 or £8 a month, and that's fine. And I know that that money is still going straight to the NHS, and it's a smaller amount monthly. It's just an option there for you. So we decided that by launching it now, it just gives you the choice. There's no pressure to do A or B. If you don't want to get signed up to that membership service, don't bother. But until football restarts, we're not touching that money. It's in and it's out, and it's going to COVID-related food banks and NHS and all of that kind of stuff.
I think essentially what you can do now, if you want to, is sign up to say, and there's 3 tiers which will take you through in a minute. It's to sign up and say, yeah, do you know what? I'm in with you guys now. I'm ready to support you, but that money is going to go into charities until we're ready to provide the content as should be. And I think that's probably unlikely to be until the new football season starts. If you don't want to, in all honesty, if you don't want to sign up, you want to sign up but don't want to until the platform is fully ready, then don't. That's okay. You know, for Saturday, you're going to have 2 options, which is sign up to us and the money will go to the NHS, or sign up to the GoFundMe if there's any particular donation you want to give, and that money's going to go to the NHS.
Exactly.
So we're not going to take a penny off anybody until we're in the position to deliver on our promises, basically. Mm-hmm. But it's there and ready, available now, because people are already saying, where do we sign? And that might be a minority, but people are in my ear going, just launch it, James. So that's what we've decided to do in conjunction with, obviously, Saturday's GoFundMe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think, I mean, you've summed it up quite clearly there. I think the thing that we really want to get with people is, ultimately, the content is what we have to offer to people right now, right? It's the community and the content. What I'd really love to build, this is going to sound horrid, and I'm stealing this line from Adam Pritchard, because he used it when he was on WGTA. But when the football stopped, he said, look, that stopping of the football made me realise that what I really loved about FPL was the community, not the game. The cheese monster that Adam Pritchard is. No,
but it's true.
I get it, I get it. And so what we're trying to do, what I want to do is build the Planet FPL army, the Planet FPL community. And this is what it's about. It's about becoming a member within our community where we can all share experiences, support each other, help each other, praise each other. One day, one of our listeners is going to win the entire FPL, and then they're going to go on the interview on the Premier League's website and say it was all down to them. Maybe not.
That's not going to happen.
But yeah, we want to build the community, and the way we can build the community right now is through the content that we create, and that's really what we're about. We don't have a website that you can subscribe to. We don't have stats. We don't have data. We don't have an app. We don't have any algorithms or anything.
We do have an app.
Yeah, we do have an app that just houses our podcasts and our content, to be fair. And that's not to say we don't want to build something along those lines, but I know that what we're good at is having fun, entertaining, all that kind of stuff. Because sure as hell, I'm not good at playing FPL. I can tell you that. If anybody listens to our podcast thinking I'm going to get advice off Suj to be a better FPL player, you need your head checking, mate.
The one of the stigmas around the Patreon guys already within the community is the stigma, and this comes from people who perhaps obviously don't offer in their money or etc. Don't support. It's absolutely fine, but the stigma is, why would I give money to become a better FPL player? That's always when I have all these resources that are freely available to me. That's always the stigma. Mm-hmm. Me and Suj will tell you both now, if you want to donate money and think you're going to become a better FPL player, you're not. We are not experts. That's why the guys know I get the hump with that word. I'm not an FPL expert. Neither certainly a usage, right? I think people would be investing in is the enjoyment along the journey.
It's having fun along the way. And I think it's a bit harsh to say that we're not expert. I mean, it's your definition of an expert, right? We understand the rules better than the average layman. We understand chip strategy better than the average layman
Chip
because
strategy,
we think about it a little bit more and understanding form and fixture and that kind of thing. But it doesn't necessarily give us the edge on picking players because there's a certain amount of luck involved in that. So that's going to be interesting. So we're at the point now where this is just a way to allow us to produce more and better content for the community. No one's getting rich off this right now. We want to obviously build on top of this. Who knows what's going to be in the future if we can develop an interesting product for people that they might want. I'm all for it. I'm all for it completely. But at the moment, I think it's just let's get to the point where if you want to become a part of our community, want to become a member with Planet FPL, you can. Know that money until football restarts is going to the NHS, but when it does, all it's allowing us to do is produce more and better content for you, we can do more work to bring the community together, and that's where we're at. I mean, it really isn't a hobby anymore. It just isn't.
No, it's taken off. I never thought. Our friend of the show, Heskibo, sent a tweet to us the other day in response to putting it in the poll, saying, "Did you always have this vision that this is where Planet FPL would get to? Like, are you laughing? We've been winging it the whole way." I think one of the real changes for me was probably, and this is a personal account, I don't know if you agree with this or not, Suj, but at the show in Manchester in March, the amount of people who said privately, "What are you waiting for? You need to do this." And really wanting to put their support out there for us made me suddenly think, yeah, perhaps this is something. And I think it's since then is when we've really started speaking about it. And then obviously it wasn't long after the football got postponed and stuff. And the idea was always to aim for next season anyway, once we'd got to that point.
I honestly think that if we could right now stay free and do even more, then I probably would try and push for that. But it's too much to expect you to do two jobs and me to do all of that, juggle it, and then we still got to fund it out of the business that we work in is blessed that we have the resource, but there is that tipping point. The thing for me is that this is purely optional. Like, if somebody doesn't become a patron, I don't love you any less.
Absolutely.
If you don't have a couple of quid, I don't care. But it's the ones that do want to. I've given you the opportunity to. If you want to, cool, and you know where it's going. But if you don't, I honestly don't have any emotion to it. I love you just as much. We're all in it together, right? I listen to content from content creators, and I'm not a member of their Patreon.
Absolutely.
And I don't feel any different contributing or not contributing, and I don't see how we would feel any different for people that way. So the cheapest package that we put on the site is £3. We have an £8 package. We have a 14 quid. And I think that's where we're at. £3's like, you know what? You don't need all the bells and whistles, and you don't really want all the perks that come with it, but you just want a little have a pint on us type thing. That's where we've got that. And as you go up the tiers, we're adding more content, more exclusive podcasts. We're going to introduce prize leagues and access to the live shows, discounts on all of that kind of stuff, and eventually partner promotions and all of that kind of stuff as well. So we've got 3 levels. You can have a look on the website at what kind of stuff you can and can't do. But I'm obviously, to be honest, this is a bit of an unknown.
Yeah, of course it is. We don't know what's going to happen next.
If nobody signs up,
it won't happen.
I think you know what? It is what it is. We won't stop producing content. We won't stop producing content. We won't stop loving Planet FPL and FPL and the community and football. And like, you'll still go to Spurs week in, week out, maybe in 2021.
2022.
I'll still be disappointed with West Ham week in, week out. It's life, right? It is what it is. But honestly, we love what we're doing. We love the interaction with the community. Nothing makes me laugh more than positive reviews and stuff. Like, I mentioned it, and I'm sure Danny won't mind, but Danny at Sick of It FPL writing a note that I'm just blown away by. So, keep all of that coming because it helps our ego. But honestly, more than anything else, we do it just for the love. And we just need to keep the lights on.
Do we want to go through what the planned schedule and the tiering is?
Yeah.
Do you want to do that now, or?
Yeah.
So schedule-wise, what we're thinking is, as said, is 5 pieces of content still freely available to everybody, one each midweek day, and also one additionally private through Patreon. So we'll still obviously do the main podcast on a Monday. It's not going to look any different to what it does now. People's poll on a Tuesday. I mean, one of the major feedbacks was, don't be hiding stuff like Bury and Manchester City and racism in football behind walls. And no, we don't want to do that. No. Sky, as I already alluded to, I think has huge growth potential. I think we're putting out a great podcast on that every Wednesday, and we'll keep doing that. Thursday's Clash of the Correspondents. The guys have amazing insight, and it's brilliant to bring them, as what the word that Suj keeps using is, to bring them as part of the community, and they're part of the team. Friday, there's a number of things we can do with the Ask James. The reason I particularly like that one is the idea eventually is to do that once we've got all the team news on a Friday. And at the moment, it's obviously kind of an open forum on YouTube, which then I'll convert into an audio, which I'm just doing myself, basically. But as Suj said, there's things that we can potentially do to change that, to maybe make that like a phone-in show, for example. And then on Patreon, the idea is to have a Patreon-only Q&A on a Monday. Tottenham or something Tottenham and West Ham related on a Tuesday that's personal to us. Wednesday, we were thinking of launching a stats show, but I'll be very honest, we haven't locked that in yet. And as many of you will know, me and Suj aren't stat geeks, essentially, when it comes to looking at our FPL positioning in terms of transfers and stuff. But I think there's something there I'd like to try, which I'd want to be a little bit different from, he had 6 shots in the last 2 game weeks. Or, I'd like to do something that in terms of a bit of flair with statistics.
Yeah.
The final plan has become something that has become really difficult for me and Suj over the last few months, because I've had to start working from home on a Friday, which has meant that most commonly we were obviously recording it on a Thursday. So I think what we'd probably do
information, right?
So we'd look at that more as a game week preview going forward. And then my idea at the moment is to do the quiz on a Friday, so people can get patrons together and play the quiz together. That's my idea, and I'll keep coming up with different themes to try and make that enjoyable. That's what we'd be looking at from a schedule perspective. And as Suj has already said, in terms of where we want to take it, I think one of our strengths, if we can do the trumpet up the bum for a minute, is we will keep pushing. We don't know when to say no, essentially. So this time last year, when it came to, right, let's do 30 and 30, it wasn't long into 30 and 30 last June when it was like, let's do five podcasts a week. Let's do one every day, because we started realizing we could do it.
Yeah, it took, with the Champman FPL live streams that you've been doing with Captain, it probably took two that I watched, probably even on the first one, with the graphics and the scoring and everything going on. And probably by the second one, the flow that you were in, I was like, people would tune in and watch us over watching Sky Sports on a Saturday or a Sunday.
I can't give that opinion because it's me in front of the camera, so I don't think it's very fair. But I thank you for that comment.
My point is just that we can push for that. Like I want to be in a position where we can provide content at that level, and I really think we can. Like, if I suppose it leads into my point here is this is a bit new for us, and we don't really know where we want to take it. But what I'd be fascinated from the community is, what do we do that gives you value that we can do more of? Because I really want to incorporate that into the offering that we have. And what would you like to see from us that we're not doing that maybe we could? Whether it's free or whether it's Patreon or whatever, doesn't really matter or bother us. It's just help us understand how we can give more value and say, you know what, I'd pay you for this, but I wouldn't pay you for that. I think you'd be really good at this, but you're actually a bit rubbish at that. But just don't say we're rubbish at FPL, because that will
That'll hurt Suj's ego.
Well, my ranks historically do that anyway, so I don't need to worry about that. It's just an open forum. We're as much a part of the community as anyone. We're not sitting there as overlords of owning FPL or whatever. So we need this for this to work, and for our style of human nature, we want it to be collaborative. So the Patreon's open. The link's in James's bio. If you want to go and jump on and sign up, do it. If you don't, still love you the same. And DM us on Twitter at Sujan Shire at Planet FPL Pod. And you can always email us help at planetfpl.com. And you can also message through Patreon and stuff like that as well. So wherever you want to find us. We're all ears. This downtime has given us the opportunity to think about it from a holistic point of view. So let's use it to do that. I'm just looking forward to giving people more content and seeing where we can take this now.
I think before we kind of go through what the tiering is as it stands now, and we are essentially up to changing it a little bit.
Yeah.
We were going to do this at 6:30 a.m. on Saturday, and we felt that it was a little bit better to try and do this confirmed on a podcast first, that then, you know, you can catch up with it anytime you like, really, and then it's there as a resource. He said he didn't say whatever. But what Suj and I would like to do is still leave that space open on the stream so that we can cover off any questions, and we seriously invite questions that we'll cover off and answer them truthfully at 6:30 in the morning on Saturday. And before you think you need to set your alarm, that 24-hour stream is never going to go away. So all you're going to have to do on the stream, if you want to catch up with that, is go to minute 30. Mm-hmm. That's it. And it'll be there.
And you want, when we release the thread of the podcast on Twitter, you can jump in there and ask questions. If you don't want to do it publicly, email us help at whatever you like.
DM's open.
Correct.
Always. DM's easiest. Because no one checks the help out email, do they, Suj?
The problem is that we get so many notifications from subscriptions and stuff. If you look at it, so-and-so is subscribed on YouTube, so-and-so is subscribed on YouTube, so-and-so has followed your Facebook. I should switch all of those notifications off, to be honest with you, so we don't get them coming through anymore. Let's just run through quickly what we've got on offer currently for people if they care. We'll do it. I'll rattle through it in the next minute, and then we'll leave people to get on and sign up or not. Enjoy the rest of their sunshine. I think today's Tuesday. Tomorrow's supposed to be even hotter, James. So you can try and get yourself around like me before the weekend.
All I'll be doing between now and tomorrow is getting a quiz ready.
We have a basic offering at £3. Unfortunately, Patreon now charges VAT, so just be aware that you're going to get a 20% slap on the wrist with that as well. We tried to wangle out how we can not charge VAT, but there's no option, unfortunately, on Patreon.
Such as tax dodging. Open the account in Switzerland.
We're not VAT registered, mate, so we shouldn't be charging people VAT, but Patreon are, so they do have to charge people VAT. You'll get all of the regular podcasts. You get access into our Slack channel that we're going to be opening up in the coming days as well to interact with other members of the community. And we're going to have a Planet FPL Patreon mini league, members mini league that everybody's welcome to join. So if you want to keep it simple, join the Slack, be in the mini league and listen to our regular shows, then that's the kind of level for you.
Essentially, at £3 a month, you're donating to say thank you. And literally you can come and join the Slack and the Patreon mini league.
Mm-hmm. We've got an £8 level. We're trying to give people a little bit more value here. So if you're chucking £8 a month into the pot, then you also get the 5 exclusive members only podcasts that James mentioned, talking about the quiz and the stats show and all of that kind of stuff. Not only that, obviously you do get access to the Slack channel as well. We're creating a second tier prize mega league. So the mini league is the basic, then we've got the mega league, and then we've got the maxi league. So the mega league is going to have a £250 prize over the season. Obviously it will kick off when the season restarts, so you'll get access into that. You'll get discounts on merch, you'll get discounts on tickets for live shows and all of that kind of stuff. So 50% off tickets for live shows and meetups and anything else we do. And you'll also get access to competitions, offers, discounts that we run with partners and promoters and anybody that wants to get involved with the community as well that we can extend.
Can I just cover a couple of things from that? First, how is Maxi bigger than Mega?
Well, I was just trying to figure it out, but if anybody wants to tell me that Mega's bigger than Maxi, I thought Maxi is maximum.
Maxi comes in the top tier, which we'll cover in a minute. What I really wanted to
I
cover
thought Maxi's maximum.
There's a couple of things in there which we probably haven't covered off. So one is merch, which straight up, there's nothing ready now.
Yeah, coming soon.
Yeah, definitely is, with perhaps some man-child slogans and whatnots. We're going to have a big think about that. Yeah. And on live shows, which we've got something at the top tier, which I think will interest people as well, is, and this is a personal one, it's not particularly related to the Patreon, that me and Suj were looking at when we first started discussing this, the idea of basically doing around about 6 live shows a year. Now, unfortunately, nobody's doing anything at the moment in terms of that, but perhaps in 2021, we would look to be in a position maybe where we would try and take the live shows around the country every couple of months.
Around the world, James. We've got offers in Toronto.
Around the world, as such.
Nairobi, Dubai. I've got offers in a few places. No joke, mate. So, yeah. And obviously Amsterdam. We've got offers in a number of places. So, yeah, definitely is going to be a big part of what we want to do. That's my favourite part, is the meetups and the live shows.
Brilliant.
Probably because we're normally pissed.
They're the best things. And the last one, I think, gave Suj and I clarity in terms of the format that works, format that doesn't, what we want to do with it growing. Now we kind of spread our wings and got out of London a bit in terms of other places we'd like to go. And hopefully Touchwood will be in a place, I don't think it'll be till 2021 now, but we want to come and meet as many of you as we can. And that's not particularly Patreon related as such. 50% of tickets, I mean, they're never going to cost a fortune anyway.
No, exactly. They're like £5-7, you know what I mean?
And we're also aware, and this probably comes onto part of the max tiering as well, that obviously the majority of people can't attend the live shows whenever they are.
Exactly. Yeah. We have the max tierings at £14 plus your VAT. Now, with the max tiering, at the moment, we're limiting it to 500 people. Reason being, the Maxi League, as James calls it, has £1,000 prize fund. We'll probably get it sponsored.
I don't know who he thinks is paying for this.
I thought the patrons were, weren't they, James? Nah, we'll get a sponsor involved, and if you want to be that, I'd love it to be someone from the community. Now, we want to limit it to 500 people because we want to give everyone a chance to win that. But you'll get all of the regular podcasts, all of the exclusive podcasts, access to the channel, that prize league that I mentioned, a bigger discount on the merch store at 25%, tickets to the live shows, meetups, and everything else completely free, streaming of all of the live events completely free, a call with you once a season, if I'm available, or jump on it as well, for free, and also all the exclusive partner offers, discounts, competitions, and so on and so on. And I know what we're like. We'll figure something out and say, let's give that to them as well. So I'm sure there's going to be some Easter eggs and hidden surprises all along the way that we'll just chuck out to the members as well. And that's it. At that max level, if you're whacking 14 quid into the pot, if we got it, you can have it. You can have my firstborn, my secondborn, my underwear, whatever you want. It's all yours at 14 quid. 14 quid a month, all yours.
Signed photos, the works, yeah?
My West Ham season ticket, whatever you want, it's all yours.
I think the thing is at that level, then we really want to get into the personal touch of saying, yeah, do you know what? We'll beam in the live shows into your home. I will start doing written content, which will be a personal touch and will be for people out there who sign up to it. And the idea is to put myself available once a year for everybody who donates at that value, to say, I will give you half hour of my time. Let's talk about whatever you want to talk about. And we'll do that like you and I are doing right now.
Exactly. So
I feel Proxy like Zoom.
we've put as much thought as we can into what we're offering, but we're by no means experts. So do reach out to us and let us know what you're thinking. Whether you think we're sellouts or whether you think we're offering you great value, I'm open to it all. I'm open to it all.
Excuse me, £1,000 for a mini league prize.
Yeah, it's decent.
I think you've lost the plot, mate.
Well, nah. I think we'll be fine. I'm just looking forward to.
There'll only be 10 of them. There'll only be 10 of them fighting over £1,000, mate.
Someone's going to win it. But remember,
let me tell you right now. I'm paying the 14 quid. I'll tell you right now.
Remember that's not for the whole season. We've got manager of the month within that. So you'd offer the manager of the month 50 quid, and then end of season will be 500 quid or whatever. So it's split. It's split into different prizes. So
you didn't say that.
Just because it's the £1,000, James, is the prize pot. So it doesn't mean it's all or nothing. You could even win.
Now he tells me.
Well, it gives you more chance to win. There's now 11 prizes rather than 1.
So for the 10 people that pay at that value, they could all win manager of the month, couldn't they? They could rig it each.
that would mean half of their annual Patreon was free. And if it is, I love you all still. It's just all love. This is all just so we can try and do new cool stuff. And
tier 4, starting from tomorrow night, is the Champman FPL live streams, a £25 entry.
You know what?
Not really.
Yeah, one thing we don't do is these YouTube super chats and YouTube membership and stuff for another day, for another year. We'll figure that out. We barely managed to get this figured out. Let's be honest with ourselves before we try and get anything else. So there we go. Look, this podcast is probably the most self-publicist podcast we could have ever done and have ever done. So I want to end it because I think I'm a little bit fed up of talking about ourselves now, to be honest, James.
You sure? I like the sound of my own voice. Everyone knows that.
So yeah, please do interact with us. I'm really, really hoping that we get your feedback. There's no judgment, and there's nothing taken personally as well. So do let us know what you're thinking. And if you do sign up, I'm going to drop you a little line and just say thank you very much as well. You can sign up from now. As the podcast has gone live, the page is ready, up and running as well. And know again that anything you donate from now until the 1st of July. So if you donate between now and the 1st of July, your next payment that will be taken out will be the 1st of July. It's all going to the NHS and charities around that we're going to be putting together. So thank you if you do decide to do that from all of us. So there we go.
I think that could even push back that date possibly, but at least until then, yeah.
Well, the next billing cycle will be 1st of July and so on. When we stop giving the money to the NHS will be, who knows? Let's hope it stays even longer, James, because I'm all for doing good stuff.
Aye, agreed.
Aye. Right, thank you all for listening. I hope you're doing it in the garden and enjoying the sunshine. Do make sure that you hit subscribe wherever you're getting your podcast, and especially now, between now and Saturday morning, get over to youtube.com/Planet FPL. If you hit subscribe and the notification bell, you will know when we go live with the 24-hour charity live stream, Planet FPL 24. On top of that, if you head over to Twitter @Planet FPL Pod, where James is at, if you don't already follow him, what are you doing? The schedule will be released over the next 24, 48, 72 hours. We'll be releasing everything that's happening. So if you've got a particular contributor and guest or correspondent that you want to catch, then you'll know when and where they're going to be on the show. So make sure you hit that notification bell and get those turned on so that you get all of the most up-to-date information from us. And that's it. Thank you for tuning in to another show. Ciao for now.
Be nice to each other, everybody. DMs open, ask us questions, cue music. Is he even still working, man-child? All right, cue music, man-child.
air quotes with his fingers, work.
Cue music, boy.